Tricho means hairs and ptera means wings, so these are the hair-winged. These insects have tiny little hairs all over their wings. The common name for these insects are casemakers and caddisflies. This refers to the incredible cases that the aquatic larvae make, that are constructed of stones, wood, or vegetation. A good way to remember this order name is that hard C sound in Trichoptera. Trichoptera. Caddisflies. Casemakers. That is so Sesame Street. Thank you. The main thing you'll notice about adult caddisflies are the wings. They're very hairy and they're pitched tent-like over the backs of their bodies. They also have very long, thin antennae that are often longer than their bodies. Now you might confuse these insects with moths, and that's okay. They share a lot of similar traits with the Lepidoptera. But take a look at the mouth parts. Most butterflies and moths have a coiled proboscis. But caddisflies have reduced mandibles, and their hypopharynx and labium are fused together into a sort of stubby, spongy drinking straw called a hastellum. The larvae of Trichopterans are really interesting. Most are aquatic. They're small, with a sclerotized head and 3 pairs of legs. Their bodies are soft, cylindrical, and C-shaped, and have gills that line the sides of their abdomens. They have structures on the ends of their abdomens called anal prolegs that have small hooks. Those anal prolegs hold the caddisflies in their cases. There are over 12,000 species of Trichopterans in the world, over 1,300 here in the U.S., and they live in all kinds of riparian and aquatic habitats, from warm and cold streams to lakes, rivers, marshes, and ponds. Now, most species need a high level of dissolved oxygen in the water, which is why you'll find a lot of them in riffles. But some species are benthic, meaning they're at the bottom of deep lakes and ponds. A lot of Trichopterans live out their entire larval stage in a case they make from substrate in their environment, like sand or pebbles. They drag these cases around as they move about in the stream. They basically invented the RV. To glue the whole thing together, they use a silk that's created in modified salivary glands. And it's surprisingly sturdy. I mean, this is an amazing feat for an insect, let alone one that lives under the water. Not impressed? We're going to show you just how hard it is to be a caddisfly larva. Some herbivorous species create silken nets to strain material from the water. Other species are predaceous and hunt for their food. The adults live on land near the water source where they lived as larvae, and often emerge in swarms to find a mate. Male caddisflies in the family Glossosomatidae use the substrate to let the females in on their good vibrations. By jumping and using special organs on their abdomens to tap, scrape, and drum, the caddisflies make sweet music with the ground.
Oh, the rhythm of my abdomen is beating like a drum, with the words I love you rolling off my tongue. Oh, never will I roam, for this creek that is my home. Where the water meets the rocks, I'll be laying
my eggs.
Once the substrate song is sung, the male approaches from behind and knocks. If the female is receptive, she lifts her wings. After mating, she lays her eggs either in the water or on a low-hanging branch out of harm's way.
Caddisflies undergo complete metamorphosis. Eggs hatch into larvae, the larvae build their cases, and when they're ready to pupate, they seal themselves inside. The cases are cemented to rocks and log surfaces so they don't inadvertently float downstream. The adults emerge and dry their wings before starting the search for a mate.
You can find the larvae in fast-moving streams and rivers. An easy way is to roll over rocks. A lot of them thrive in oxygen-rich environments, so look for rocks in moving water. We've enlisted the expertise of an aquatic specialist. This is Emily. She studies macroinvertebrates and their effect on salmon populations in Alaska. She's brought along a D-net and a kick net.
Here, more free-living caddis.
When looking for adults, timing is everything. Early summer is a good time to find them emerging. Grab them with a net or go night lighting. If your timing is right, you'll find them. This little caddisfly landed on our tripod while we were filming this episode.
Remember in the mayfly video we talked about how some insects are used as bioindicators of clean water? Well, caddisflies are another of those insects that are not tolerant of pollution. And ecologists use these insects to determine stream health. The Environmental Protection Agency has issued rapid assessment stream protocols that outline how caddisflies and other aquatic macroinvertebrates can be used to determine stream health. Caddisflies are also an important part of the aquatic food chain, and fish love to eat them, so naturally fishermen use them as bait. Remember when we interviewed Flymaster Jason? Well, a lot of the flies in that shop were actually caddisflies. And finally, because of the caddisfly's unique ability to create sticky silk underwater, scientists at the University of Utah are using Trichoptera silk as a model for new surgical sutures. Oh, when they have developed this, I am totally going to accidentally cut my arm and try it out. Silk, silk, silk. You're sick. Sick, dedicated. It's a fine line. In a lot of these videos, when we talk about insects that people don't know a lot about, we have to dig really deep for mythology and references in art. For example, if you Googled Trichoptera art, chances are you're going to come up with just a bunch of scientific drawings and maybe someone's caddisfly watercolor. Which is fine. But if we allow ourselves to open our minds and ask a couple existential questions like, what is art? Or is art the product of the artist or the process? Then things get really interesting. This store, Paxton Gates, specializes in the interface between science and art. It is a magical wonderland, and they have art here that is created by caddisflies. Remember how we said these animals make cases from the substrate around them? So if a caddisfly lives in an area with lots of sand and rocks, that's what the case will be made from. But if it lives in an area with semi-precious stones and freshwater pearls, that is what the case will be made from. Ferg is an artist who keeps caddisflies in aquariums and provides substrate made of chips of semi-precious stones and metals. When the larva pupates, it leaves behind this gorgeous glittering case. Some people use these as jewelry, and some artists use them to talk about the importance of keeping aquatic ecosystems clean. Do you think they make earrings out of these? Hope so.